Hello, Allison.
Hey.
I am so happy that we get to sit down and have this conversation. Not just because I love what you're doing and I love what you're about, and you've got some really cool new stuff coming, but because you're my friend.
I know, and that we haven't talked in I don't know how long, and we can still talk
I
like normal.
love this. I know. Yay for Zoom.
Yeah, I love
Not
it.
like you're that far away, but yay for Zoom. So I want you guys though to meet Allison. She has a lot, she's done so much. She's done it all. She's like all of us, I think. Like at this point, we've tried everything. Um, but one of those everything she touches, it's amazing. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, kind of tell you where she is now, and then we're gonna chat about mindset and tough times and how we use our fitness background to get through some of that.
Yeah. You're always so kind to talk to me like that. Yeah, I kind of feel sometimes like I've done it all, but I know there's so much more to do. But I met you obviously in group exercise back in our college days. And I stayed in the university system for a long time, directing programs for different universities, and then kind of branched out and did my own thing about 5.5 years ago by opening up a studio in San Antonio called Energy X Fitness. And it's been great and terrible all at the same time. But we're about, like I said, about 5.5 years in, just shy of that. And
Oh my gosh.
I know,
Really?
right?
That just like blew my mind. That's awesome.
It's crazy. So we opened up our first location 5.5 years ago, and the second location opened up in November of last year. So, they kind of opened around the same time so we're 5 years in 1 year. And yeah, so we're just chugging along there. Obviously, COVID was a big shocker for us. It still is. But yeah, so we do a small group boutique fitness there that is high intensity, low impact training. And then just recently, obviously with the pandemic, we had to move everything online. I shouldn't say everything, but we did for a few months. Everything was online. And I think like most people, we just kind of kept going with that online stuff. And so most recently, my husband and I created galvanized workouts. And it's
Oh, her last name's Galvan, by the way. Like that.
yes,
That
it
makes more
makes a lot
sense.
more sense knowing my last name's Galvan. So that was definitely Danny's idea to call it galvanized workouts. And so the first thing we launched was a 30-day yoga program. And so our goal from there is to create lots more programs that we can just gear online and kind of really reach a market that we obviously, if San Antonio people want to do it, great. But I've been able to reach so many more people, which is just kind of the benefit of the online world. So
And I
that's
think this is one of those, I call them COVID silver linings. This is one of those for those of us that kind of stepped up to the plate and were like, I'm gonna step out of my box and do something that, and we were even talking about this before, like we aren't even really prepared to do. Like I'm gonna set up this phone on a tripod,
yep.
kick my kids' toys to the other side, and go live.
Right.
Instead of I'm gonna sit and like fret about my bills, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna keep pushing, I'm gonna keep pushing. I think by doing that, we've really created not only a community within ourselves as fitness instructors and kind of seeing what everyone else is doing, but for people that maybe in the past haven't really had access to some really high quality fitness,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
they're in more rural areas, or maybe they just don't have an instructor they vibe with, because that's a huge part
Right.
of it. There's an opportunity right now for people to really plug in to fitness in a way that they have not been able to before.
Yes. And still feel personal, I was just talking to someone today about our new galvanized workouts. And I said, I'm not over here trying to compete with Peloton and Beachbody and all those big companies
No.
because they're on this level that's not really personable, but they can produce high quality looking content. Not saying that their content isn't also high quality, but what I know is that we can provide this personal experience and we really have the client in mind. Yes, we want to also support our families and make an income from it, but the bottom line is this is my reputation on the line. So I'm not going to put out a crappy product. And I think that anyways, just yes, you can find that personable ness with online that maybe before this pandemic you didn't think you could, or it wasn't possible to find personability.
Yeah, and to me, it's almost like being able to get the feeling of personal training without having to even leave your house, and B, maybe if it wasn't financially accessible to you before, you
Yeah.
get that same feeling because it's the same person showing up in your house day after day, and you know their personality. And like I said before, I'm the kind of person where I have to really jive with you.
Right.
I have to really like the way you talk. I have to like the way you cue. And now you can find that. You can find
Yeah.
it no matter where you are really in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's perfect thing for us coming from a non-Zoom background and being able to do this and still
Yeah.
succeed. Yeah, for sure.
And even have, I don't know how you guys are doing it, but I have some, I do some Zoom live workouts, and I can actually see your face and I can see your
Absolutely.
form. If you want to show me, you don't have to turn the video on, but I can actually see you and call your name, and
Yes.
just like that.
Yeah. And I think that's what we started doing when we had to close the studio. Was it took a second, maybe a good 5 days for us to figure out, do we go just the on-demand route or do we go the Zoom route? And doing those classes, what we heard from people too is that accountability of having to sign up for it, and then yes, being able to see you, not that we required it, but just seeing you and seeing other people doing it with you and being able to comment on your form or how hard you're working. It was just, yeah, it's night and day from just filming a video.
Even just saying the names. Like, I'll be honest, there are some people that get on, I never see their face, but their name shows up, and I can still say, like, good job, so and so, like, or keep going. I know you're still here. You haven't logged off, so I hope you're not sitting on the couch, Like,
Right. I mean, sure, they could be sitting there on the couch watching, but I bet they aren't, because why would you even get on?
exactly. Like, what does that do for me?
Yeah.
So we know that obviously there has been some benefits for us for all this virtual fitness. We know that other people have the benefit, but I also think that it's really easy now for people to maybe not do it because it is virtual and they can choose not to attend. But what do you think, just from your experience and your background and what you've seen and maybe what you've gone through, like, how does plugging into fitness or plugging into a program help people with their mindset right now, staying focused on the positive, pushing through any struggles? Because we're pretty far. Like, if you're watching this later, we're filming this in January of 21. I feel like there's light on the horizon now.
Yeah.
But we are, if you look at where we are, we're still in the trenches. We're still kind of not, everything's not back to quote unquote normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think for me personally, even as a fitness professional and someone who leads these workouts, I know that I find myself in a rut and not wanting to go and do my own thing. Sometimes I don't even want to log on to a Zoom either because I'm just exhausted physically. But what I always find by the end of it is that I'm glad I did it because I had a whole nother group of people there and someone else told me what to do. And those two things are huge for me. I need other people there, whether it's 1 or 10, to kind of have that camaraderie. And especially on Zoom, well, and even in studio, I've been saying this for years, no one's watching you. No one gives 2 cares about what you're doing because they're so focused on themselves and the instructor sometimes figuring out what they need to do. But anyways, in Zoom, it's even less. No one's looking at you in the camera, which is nice. And then, like I said, the second thing is just having someone else tell you what to do, because I am so mentally exhausted from telling everybody else what to do all day that I could absolutely plan my own workout. But do I want to? No, not really.
Right.
So, I mean, for me, that the online space has been great to do that for myself on the days that I can't go and just do it alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about, like, for me, the mental health part of this pandemic has been just crazy.
Yeah.
And so maybe just in general, like, how have you seen for yourself or for other people, like, how just staying plugged into something, and it doesn't, again, if you're watching this, it doesn't need to be something crazy. Like, for those of you that see this for the first time that don't know how she and I coach, she said, like, high intensity, low impact. Like this does not need to be jumping up on boxes or like doing mountain bike flips over cars, which I've never done, probably won't ever. I don't know why did I even go there? But but just doing something like, how does that impact whether you've had a bad day, a bad month, a bad year? How can that help you?
I mean, we could totally get into the science of it, right? But we won't. I mean, we'll just simply say endorphins. Like the endorphins that your body produces during exercise are going to change your mood. Now, it's easier said than done. Like we see the quote all the time, the hardest part about the workout is showing up. And I agree with that because your mindset is not there yet. You are already, you know, if you are having stress, anxiety, depression, whatever, your mindset's not there. And the last thing that you probably want to do is go hop in a workout. So yes, getting there is tough. And I would say all the stuff before getting there is a whole nother conversation. But at the moment that you step in and you start moving and you get the blood flowing, immediately that's when that mindset shifts. And again, another one of those quotes that you hear, you never leave a workout wishing you hadn't done it, right? Like
Right.
you
Right.
always feel so much better because your endorphins are high, your blood is flowing, you've got some sweat depending on what type of workout you did. And you just have a little bit more clarity, you know? So
Yeah.
I remember one time a client, what was she saying to me? We were just talking about workouts and she asked what I was doing for the day. And I was like, oh, well, I have to teach a class and then do this and then teach another class. And then I'm going to do my own workout. And she's like, why would you work out again? And I was like, well, because these classes are not my workout. I mean, if you watch me teach, I'm doing maybe 25% of the class,
Right.
where you're doing 100, and I am not reducing my stress. I am not zoning out. I am not getting a full
Amen.
on
Yeah.
exercise. So I need to do it myself. Now, am I doing it 6 times a week like my clients are? No, usually not, because one, I don't have time, and two, because I am constantly active that I can kind of get away with doing less.
Mm.
But that's what I had to tell her. I'm like, well, I'm not doing my own hour-long workout 6 days a week. I'm trying to fit in 3 30-minute workouts for my own sanity.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was kind of annoying that I had to tell that to her, like tell her why I was working out, because I think so often people think that we don't need it because we're already exercising because we're coaching.
Well, and it's
So
that thought too of when people learn really like why we work out, because I think a lot of people start working out because for a physical
absolutely.
goal. And by the way, it's like pouring here, just started thundering like crazy. So I'm sorry
Oh,
if you're
no,
hearing that.
I don't even hear it, but I wish it was pouring here.
It's like crazy. And it just started, like it just went crazy. So yeah, I think people when they first start working out, it's like, I want to change my body. I want to change my body. And so, and someone might be in this space right now. So they don't really understand, like, well, if someone's moving their body all day, why do they move their body more? It's almost like you level up to the next level of being. Like if we could just have these levels and you realize that working out actually does so much more. And it's for your mental health as well as your physical health.
Yes. Yeah, I think you know, body positivity, as you are such a advocate for, you know, we're set up, especially as women, to fail in that category as we grow up. High school and college in particular are just, you know, hotbeds of over exercising and under eating or eating crappy, whatever. We don't need to go there.
Binging. Yeah, for sure.
We've all probably been there. And self-image issues and all that stuff. But unfortunately it carries over into adulthood. And I would be lying if I sat here and told you that I don't have my own body image issues, you know? I'm just more well prepared or well equipped to handle them than I think maybe the general population is. But, you know, yes, exercise, a lot of times people are motivated to start because of how they want to look or versus how they do. But they very quickly, because I think you see changes mentally before you see it physically. So I think that as soon as someone can understand that moving your body is more holistic than just one goal outcome, the more success you're going to have in your original goal of maybe trying to look a little better.
Right.
So yeah, body positivity and just finding the right mindset going into it, switching from I need to lose 5 pounds to I just want to move 5 days a week. whatever the case may be. You know, it's a mindset shift, and it's
It
hard. It's so hard during COVID times when we are sitting here guilty, drinking a full bottle of wine, eating like
we've
crap.
all been there for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of clients that I've had come back into the studio. Just kind of like, I put on the COVID-15, and while it's a joke, it's true. They have.
I've been calling it the COVID-19 because I think I'm clever. Just
You are clever. You are clever. I like that. I'm going to use it next time.
Right?
It says 15. But yeah, it's just, we've all maybe, well, I shouldn't say all, like, let's not rope everyone. There's some crazy people that because of COVID, you know, decided to crush their goals and now they look better than they ever have.
Yeah.
But the common normal person, yeah, good for you. But the common normal person did not do that. And myself included. Like even my stretchy pants don't fit the way I want them to anymore. And I'm just working to get back to where I feel better about myself and my body, but also I'm not stuck in my head and my clothing about it. Like,
right.
And I talked to my husband, you know, I talked to Danny, we just had this conversation the other night that, you know, a lot of times if there's ever a time that we, you know, maybe don't feel as intimate with each other or as close with each other, I said 9 times out of 10, it's not you, it's me. And it's how I feel about myself.
Oh, so much.
Yeah. And if we just talk about that, you know, that conversation came up pre-COVID too, in a time when I wasn't feeling great about my body. And I just told him, I was like, I want to find more time to exercise for myself. I want to eat better and I need your support. And I think not that he wouldn't have given it to me, but the only way I knew he could is if I opened up to him about how I was feeling.
So, you know, it's funny that you touch on this whole mindset that, and vulnerability is such a key thing. And I think this is where you and I, in the way that we have our clients and our workouts and how we have a smaller group, but more, I don't want to say more quality, but more, we have more flexibility with the type of workout. Even the way that we're coaching, I think that we allow that space for vulnerability for even our clients, not, you know, having our spouses, of course, that would be, sometimes I feel like I'm probably more vulnerable with my clients, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's just me. Like, that's just how I am. But I think we have that space, and that's a reason that I think someone would benefit from seeking out something a little smaller, which wasn't really where I saw this conversation going. But I do think that's a recommendation I have. If you feel like you cannot stick to a workout, or you're like, I'm still doing it for my body, I haven't felt that shift that Alison was talking about. Mm-hmm. Try something smaller first. Try something a little bit more intimate first, because we have a little better way of getting that direct. We communicate a little more directly. We're not trying to appease massive amounts of people. We're trying to appease a small group of people that want what we have. I don't want everyone as my client because I don't want to have to teach that way. That's a really, I hope the thunderstorm didn't mess with this. Oh no. All right, sorry about that. I mentioned the crazy storm. But yeah, seek out something small. Like that is, if we could just tell you one thing today about this and getting a coach that can really give you the changes in your mindset that you need in these tough times, find something small if you're not feeling it in the bigger group. So Alison, tell us, since we don't want to get kicked off by the storm again, tell us how we can find you, how we can dive into your programming. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I mean, if you live in San Antonio, I would love to see you at my physical studio, which is EnergyX Fitness, and social media is always the best place to follow us and get updates and all that good stuff. I'm on social media like everybody is. Instagram, it's at Alison Galvan, and that's Alison with 1 L, because if it was 2, it'd be Alison. And Facebook too, Alison Galvan. And that's currently where we're posting about our galvanized workouts. And so you can find galvanizedworkouts.com to find that 30-day yoga program. And I think that that's a great way to start just moving your body and getting your mind a little bit more wrapped around everything that we've been through in 2020 and shifting it into a better place for 2021.
I love it. And you guys, I can vouch for Alison is an amazing instructor. So good. She is actually a master trainer too for BOSU.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Is it technically BOSU or is it within, whatever, it's.
Yeah, it's
Just
BOSU.
a
BOSU just split. Well, I don't want to say split from Headstrong Fitness, but yeah, it's BOSU.
All right, there we go. And now we all have update on BOSU news.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's amazing, and her yoga is super, super good. Yeah, so Allison's amazing. Try plugging into that fitness, and thank you so much for chatting with all my people today. You're awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You're the best.
All right.